Yoga is a very slow-paced style of yoga, and it's to really target and stretch the deep connective tissue between the muscles and the joints. So it really helps to improve your flexibility. So when you're actually doing it, it helps to increase your energy flows in your body as well. But there's sort of like three key principles. The first one is that you have to kind of find your edge, because we stay in a pose for an extended period of time. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is not very much, and 10 is like you're in pain. Stick to around a 4 or 5, so you're not sort of pushing yourself too much. And just stay, so when you're actually in the pose, then stay still and hold the pose and try not to fidget, and just try to breathe into it. So it's a really deep practice. And honor your body. So if I say we're going to stay in this pose for a couple of minutes and that's not working for you because there's pain or whatever, just come out of the pose and you can go into child's pose or savasana just to have a rest. So that's the key 3 things. So finding your edge, once you're in the pose, staying still and breathing into it. And the third one is knowing when to back off. So today we'll set an intention for ourselves. I looked at some cards and got some inspiration, and the inspiration I had was around the flow of prosperity. So we're working with our energy flow. So let's thinking about bringing the intention of flowing within our practice and having things flowing nicely within what we want to do, setting our intentions and any changes we might want to make to our life. So just working with that flow. So let's come to we'll start off in a comfortable seated position, and we'll do our Om, setting up our practice. You can join me if you wish, but you don't have to. Taking a deep breath in, and then a long deep breath out, letting go of all that doesn't serve us. And then taking another deep breath in, hands to Anjali Mudra. Om. Thank you for being here today. Being here for yourselves means we're also here for each other, supporting each other in our yoga practice and to help our energy. We're going to start off in a butterfly pose. So if you have a bolster, you might like to place it underneath the back of your ribs, so you're opening up through the chest, and bringing your feet touching each other and your knees out into a butterfly. If you find that's a little uncomfortable, you can place a block underneath each knee or a pillow, whatever you have. So we're going to start off into a butterfly pose. So we're reclining back into that and having your arms out to the side. So your chest is up nice and high. Coming into this pose, having one hand on your heart, your left hand on your heart, and your right hand on your stomach. Just softening your eyes. And I invite you to pay attention to your breath. Notice as you breathe in, your chest and your tummy rising. And then you hold, and then slowly breathing out, and the chest and the tummy falling. So coming into this position, you might feel a little tension around your groin area, around the back of your legs, maybe a bit of lower back. Getting yourself in a comfortable position. If you do need to have a little bit of support under your knees, place something there just so that you feel really comfortable. And once you get into this position, we're going to stay in here for a couple of minutes. The purpose of this one is to pay attention to your breath and connect to your breath. Feel the floor underneath you, supporting you in your practice. Noticing the floor under your feet, under your lower back, under your chest, your shoulders and the back of your head. And tuning into your breath. Taking a big breath in and a big breath out. Starting to count your breath, counting as you breathe in for 3 and out for 4. Just settling into the practice. Slowing down after the busyness of your morning, softening your eyes and coming into your space. We're here for another 1 minute. Just continue to tune into your breath, noticing the rise and the fall of your chest and your tummy. This practice is a lot slower than what we normally practice, but it's not to say it's any easier. Holding the poses and holding your attention for a little longer can be challenging. Taking 3 more breaths. And our last breath here. From here, we're going to roll over onto our tummy. Coming into a Sphinx pose. Having your palms underneath your shoulders. And we're going to squeeze our buttocks and lift our gaze. And noticing as you do this one, bringing your elbows, pushing your elbows into the floor a little, lifting your gaze, noticing a compression in your lower back and a stretch through the back and through the shoulders. We're going to stay here for about 10 breaths, squeezing through the buttocks, pressing down through our hands, bringing our shoulders back. Softening your eyes and notice again the floor supporting you under your hands, under your tummy, your thighs and the tops of your feet. Notice how your body rises and falls with each breath. We'll take 5 more breaths here. And 1 more breath. And and then coming up to tabletop, and then bring your buttocks back to your heels. And we're going to walk our body forward into a child's pose. So with your child's pose, you might want to have a block to place underneath your forehead, if you wish. So taking your knees nice and wide, coming back onto your, coming back onto the heels. And we're going to take our chest up and walk our hands forward, coming into child's pose, trying to keep our buttocks down near our heels. And you can bring your block or your pillow, if you wish, underneath your forehead, and allow your body to really sink into the pose. I'm going to stay here for a couple of minutes. Again, feeling the support through your hands, through your shins, and through the tops of your feet. Asking yourself where you feel this pose, where you feel the stretch, and deep stretch through the fascia and the muscle, helping to give you a little more flexibility in the lower back and the hips. Letting your body sink in on the exhalation and taking your forehead down towards the mat. Counting for 4 as you breathe in and counting to 5 as you exhale, lengthening out the exhalation. You might want to walk your fingers a little bit forward and feeling a little more stretch in your upper back. And sinking into your lower back on each exhalation. A little more opening through the lower back and the hips. And just settling into the pose and settling into the rhythm of your breathing. One more minute here. Taking 3 more breaths. And then gradually walking your hands back up into tabletop. Just giving your body a little bit of movement through the spine, through the buttocks. And from here, we're going to go into a downward dog. Welcome, Gilda. So we're doing some Yin Yoga today. So with the downward dog, if you find that you have any issues with your shoulders, you could actually stand up in front of, rest your hands on a bed or on a chair. I'll just give you a quick demo. I've got a chair here just to show you if you want. If you want to, you can do the downward dog here in this position if that is more comfortable for you, because we're going to stay in it for a few minutes, or you can do it on the floor as you normally do. So you choose which one is best for you. So taking your body into the downward dog, hands nice and wide and coming up into the position. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. Again, getting really comfortable.
So the main thing here is to find your edge, taking your hips up towards the ceiling and bringing your heels down towards the mat, opening up through your hands and bringing your head through your arms. And notice where your edge is, and if you think about a scale of 1 to 10, you should be on around 3 or 4, so we're going to hold it for a while, so you don't want to have too much discomfort. Sinking into the pose and tuning into your breath. And again, let's go back to counting as we breathe in and counting as we exhale. So you may want to breathe in for 3 and exhale for 4, or if you can go a little longer, you might inhale for 4 and exhale for 5. And just pay attention to your ribs and your tummy as they rise and fall on each breath. And remember, at any point in time, if this becomes too much, you can listen to your body and go back into a child's pose or into a savasana. So we've got another minute here. It's quite hard on the shoulders, so just relaxing into it. Take a rest if you need. And quieten down your breath. Working into the deep fascia and the muscles around the backs of your legs and through your shoulders. Ask yourself where you're feeling it. So the purpose of the Yin Yoga is to really help us with our flexibility and open up our energy flows. Taking 3 more breaths here. And then bringing your knees back down to the ground and coming back.
Just giving your shoulders just some gentle movement. It's quite a lot of pressure on your shoulders. And the next one we're going to do is a half moon. So again, you might want to use a prop. You could use a block or you can use a chair. I'll just show you with the chair. So the half moon pose it's a balancing type pose. So if you want to use a chair, you can have one hand on the chair, opening up through your feet, and bring the other hand up into this position. Okay, so you might want to use the end of a bed or the railing near you, or you might have a chair close by. So just coming into position, so opening out through your hands, standing on your right foot, and then we're going to open up, taking the left hand up towards the ceiling and take your gaze with it. Getting yourself nice and balanced, gazing up towards the left hand. That's it. Taking some nice deep breaths here, squeezing through the buttocks. Left foot, toes pointing towards the wall behind you. Opening up through the chest. I've got 30 more seconds here. Just trying to hold on to it, breathing into it. Finding a gazing point to help you with your balance. Really opening up through the front of the body. Taking 3 more breaths here. And bringing the hand and foot down. Just giving your legs and arms a little bit of a shake. And then we're going to go to the other side. Just move my chair. So opening up through the left foot and then taking the right foot up in the air. Getting nice and comfortable, opening up the left foot, the toes, opening up the left hand, and then bringing the right hand up, pointing the toes towards the wall behind you. Just taking some nice deep breaths, finding your gaze point. It's quite a strong pose for the left leg, squeezing through the buttocks. Just quietening down through the breath. We've got 30 more seconds here. Taking 3 more big breaths. And then release. And coming back to standing position, give your legs a little shake, give your arms a little shake. So moving your body around, moving your hips around. Good. Okay, I'll just take my chair away. Okay, the next one, we're going to come down back onto the floor and we're going to go into a dragonfly pose. If you have a bolster, you might be able to use that or a block. So coming down onto buttocks with your feet out nice and wide, up onto your sit bones. And we're going to take our body forward. So you might have your hands face down on the mat, starting with your chest up and then gently bringing your body forward to where it's comfortable for you. You can use a prop to support you, or if you have a bolster, you could do that. Or you can just let your body fall forward. So coming into the pose, your toes are pointing up towards the ceiling, walking your hands forward. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. Where in your body are you feeling the stretch? Is it along the hamstrings or the lower back? As you walk your hands a little more forward and bring your chest a little more forward on each exhalation, you may start to feel a little in the shoulders. Coming back to your breath and counting. Breathing in for 3 or 4. And then breathing out for 1 more count. So you might breathe in for 3, out for 4, or in for 4, out for 5. Lengthening through the breath. And notice as your body rises and falls with each breath. Take yourself towards your edge and then back it off from there. Notice how your body's feeling. If you need to come out of the pose, you can. Just listen to your own body. Got 30 more seconds here. And last 2 breaths. And then walking your hands up. So coming up into a seated position, just giving your lower back a little bit of movement. And now you might like to come into a position with your legs folded or legs out, whatever is comfortable for you. And we'll just go from side to side, just getting a little bit of movement there. Good. And then we're going to take our right foot out in front and bring the left foot, tuck it up into your groin area, into a half dragonfly. And we're going to take our body forward. So you might find you've got different flexibility on one side to the other. So having your hands down towards your ankles or even down towards your foot, but again, come into a position where it's about a 4 or 5 in terms of body tension towards your edge, and then back off a little. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. So tuning back into your breath, thinking about that count, whether it be in for 4, out for 5. Softening your eyes and noticing where in your body do you feel this stretch. It might be lower back or hamstrings or shoulders. Feel the body rising and falling on each breath. We've got 30 more seconds here. Taking 3 more deep breaths. And last breath here. And then coming up. And taking both legs out the front, give them a little bit of a shake. And we're going to go to the other side. So tucking your right foot in to your groin on the left side, come up onto your sit bones. And then bring your body forward. That's it. Wow, you've got a good stretch there, Gilda. You can touch your feet. You might find now that this side might be tighter or looser than the other side. So gazing down towards your toes, and you might be holding on at your knees or your shins or your ankles or your toes, wherever feels right for you. So finding your own edge. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. Softening your eyes and going back into your breathing. And feeling the deep stretch. We're stretching the muscle and the fascia to open up through the joints, getting a bit more flexibility and helping to open up our energy flows. Notice underneath you the support of the earth through your heel, the back of your left leg, through the top of your right foot, your buttocks, and the back of your right leg. We've got 1 more minute here. Tuning back into your breath and noticing as your body rises and falls. Thirty more seconds. Remembering to pay attention to your body, and if you need to release earlier, you can. Three more deep breaths. And then releasing from the pose and bringing your feet out in front of you, giving them a nice shake through. And now we're going to take this into a forward bend. So I might go sideways so you can see. So coming up into your sit bones with a nice tall spine. And then we're going to reach forward with both hands this time. And you may find you can reach towards your ankles or your shins or to your toes, whichever works for you. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. So relaxing into the pose, coming back to your breathing, feeling your support of the earth underneath your heels and the back of your legs, buttocks, and a deep stretch through lower back and hamstrings. Counting your breaths, breathing in for 4 and out 5. On each exhalation, relaxing a little more into the pose. Feeling the deep stretch of the Yin Yoga. Got 1 more minute here. Surrendering into the pose. 30 more seconds. And 3 more deep breaths. And then releasing and coming back up to an erect position. And from here, the next one we're going to do, you've got an option there. We're going to do either a yogi squat or a butterfly. So I'll show you the butterfly first. So the butterfly is similar to what we were doing, the reclining butterfly at the beginning. So we bring our feet in towards our groin and holding onto our feet and letting our knees fall out to the side. So that's the butterfly. The other one is a yogi squat. So you might find, Penny, the butterfly is a better one for you. With the yogi squat, if you've got any knee issues, butterfly might be better. So you're coming down into a deep squat and bring your hands together like that. So just choose which one is going to work better for you. That's it. So bring your chest forward. So this one's very good. Both of these positions are very good to open up through the hip area. If you find that you're very stiff in the hips, especially when you get up after you've been sitting for a long time, this one is very good to open up through that whole hip area. So we're going to stay here for a couple more minutes. So gently pressing your elbows into your knees and finding a focus point, softening your eyes and coming back to your breath. Ask yourself where you're feeling this stretch. So we're targeting the deep connecting tissues between the muscles and the fascia. And our aim is to increase the circulation in the joints and to improve our flexibility. It really helps to regulate our body's energy system. I've got 1 more minute here. Just relaxing into it.
Really opening up through that hip area, improving our flexibility. Let's take 3 more deep breaths. And then release. So coming down into tabletop position, just giving your body a little bit of movement here. Just releasing through the ankles and the lower back. And we're going to go into happy baby. So coming into happy baby, coming onto your back and reaching up, your hands up towards your feet, reaching through to the outside of your feet. So you're actually in a similar position to what we just were, except you're on your back this time, so your lower back is completely supported. So reaching up, grabbing the outside edge of your feet. Or you can hug your knees into your chest if this is not so comfortable for you. But happy baby is usually pretty comfortable for most people. You can move your body around a little bit and settle into a position that is comfortable for you. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes, just taking out any stress and deep stretch into the lower back area. And you'll notice an opening up through the groin and the hamstrings, having your knees slightly pressing, your elbows pressing towards your knees, and coming back to your breathing, opening up through the hips, maybe slightly uncomfortable on the hips. It's a deep stretch of the fascia. We've got 1 more minute here. Softening your eyes and coming back to your breath. Back to the counting, in for 4 and out for 5. Thirty more seconds here. And 3 more deep breaths. And then releasing your hands and your feet, bring your feet back down to the mat with your legs, knees bent. Just moving your lower back from side to side and releasing any tension. Taking your arms out, straight out from your shoulders. Walking your heels a little bit closer to your buttocks. And we're going to go into a twist here. So taking your knees towards the right side and looking towards your left. And just relaxing into this pose. Scanning your body. Whereabouts are you feeling this one? Keeping your shoulders on the ground, feeling a little stretch through the front of the chest and down the left side of the body, and a twist in the lower back. Taking some long, deep breaths. Opening up through the obliques on the left side of the abdomen. We've got 30 more seconds here. Surrendering into the pose. 3 more breaths. And then inhaling, bringing the knees to center. And exhaling, taking the knees to the left side and gazing to the right. Finding your comfortable position, your 4 out of 10 position here. Coming back to your breath. Keeping the backs of your shoulders on the ground. Noticing a stretch through the chest, right down the right side of the body. Through the obliques on the right side of the abdomen. Staying here for another minute or so. Coming back to counting your breath and releasing a little more in each exhalation. More seconds here. And 3 more deep breaths. And then next inhalation, bring your knees back to center and hugging them towards your chest. Moving your body in a circle. And then letting your legs stretch out. So it's almost like we're in Savasana. So stretching out through the legs and bringing your hands above your head. And I want you to walk your heels towards the right side. Just taking a few walks across to the right. And bring your hands across to the right. So your body shape is like a big banana. This is called a banana pose. So you've got a stretch going all the way down the left side of the body. Gazing towards the left. And we're going to stay here for a minute. Ask yourself where are you feeling this one? Coming back to the breath again. You might find you can walk your feet a little more out to the right. As you do, you may feel a little bit more tension on the hip on the left side. A little deeper stretch. Taking big, deep breaths. 30 more seconds here. Are you feeling the stretch through the left hip area, the left side of the abdomen? 3 more deep breaths. And then walking your feet back towards the center. And then taking the feet, walking the feet, both heels walking out towards the left side of your body and walking your hands towards the left side. So you've gone back into a big banana position on the other side. And noticing the stretching through the right side of the body and through the right hip. Through the right arm. Hands stretched out above your head. 30 more seconds here. Opening up the energy pathways, letting the energy flow through the body freely. Three more deep breaths here. And then walking your feet back to center and bring your hands back down by your sides. Bending your knees and bringing your heels close to your buttocks. And we're going to lift up our hips into bridge pose. So taking our hips nice and high. You can leave your hands face down on the mat, or you can take your hands underneath you and walk your shoulders a little bit more together, lifting right up through the hips, stretching through the shoulders. And we're going to stay here for 1 minute. So this is a back bend type pose to counterbalance some of the forward bends that we've been doing today. This deep stretch through the front of the legs and through the front of the hips, squeezing through the buttocks. Coming back to your breath, bring your knees a little closer together. 30 seconds here. And remember, you can always bring your body down and rest if you need to. 30 more seconds to go. Three more deep breaths. And then slowly releasing your hands and lowering your spine down to the mat, hugging your knees up to your chest. Just moving your body in whatever direction needs to go. It might be in a circle or from left to right. Coming back to your breath, asking yourself, where in your body are you feeling this? Into mindful movement and breath. And then from here, we're going to come into a seated position. A little bit more of a stretch through our lower back. We're going to take our left leg over our right leg, come up onto your sit bones, and take your right hand around the knee and the left hand behind you. And we're going to go into a twist. This one's called Lord of the Fishes. So twisting through this one, taking your gaze over your left shoulder. We're going to stay here for a minute. Coming back to your breath and softening your eyes. And notice the earth supporting you under your heel, on your right foot, your calf, the back of your leg, and your buttocks, the outside of the left foot, and the left hand. Coming back to your breath. And on each exhalation, going a little more into the stretch. 30 more seconds here. Deep stretch into the lower back. Two more breaths here. And then release. And we'll go to the other side. So bring the right leg over the left and join the foot back towards your upper leg. Left hand on the right knee and right hand behind you around the middle of your back.
And as you exhale, twisting into it, taking your gaze over your right shoulder. And we're going to stay here for a minute. On each exhalation, surrendering a little more into the twist. You may be feeling this one through your right hip, your right buttock and your right ITB. A little bit of a stretch through the lower back. Coming back to your breathing. Thirty more seconds here. And 3 more breaths. And then releasing your body, giving your legs a little shake. And we're going to come into our legs up the wall position. So you might have your legs up the wall or up the side of your bed or whatever you have. You might bring a prop in to support your back, or you might come into a half shoulder stand. Whatever feels comfortable for you today. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. Allowing your ankles to circle so they feel nice and light. Coming back to your breath and softening your eyes. You might take your legs out wide. And bring the feet together, knees out wide, into an inverted butterfly. So this inversion is great for the lymphatic system and the circulatory system. The fluid's draining down through the feet and the ankles and legs back towards the lymph nodes in the groin and the chest. And taking your feet back up in the air. You might like to take your feet over your head. We've got 30 more seconds here. And then slowly lowering the body back down to the mat. So bringing your body back down to the mat, laying down into Savasana. That's it. We're coming back into a short Savasana at the end, just relaxing. Letting the energy flows that you have been cultivating
flow through your body. Getting in a nice, comfortable position. Taking 3 deep, relaxing breaths. Starting to bring your thoughts back into the room, noticing the sounds in the room, noticing the earth beneath you, and gently rolling to one side, stretching out through your arms and your legs. And coming to a comfortable seated position. Let's close our practice with an Om. Taking a deep breath in and then breathing out all that doesn't serve us. Another deep breath in. Om. Thank you for being here today for yourselves and for each other, raising all of our vibrations, bringing our hands to our forehead for kind thoughts, and to our lips for kind words, and to our heart for a kind heart. Namaste. Well, that was a little different today. A little bit of slow Yin Yoga. It's great if you have stiffness. So, how's that feeling for everybody now?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, isn't it?
No, it's excellent, really.
Yeah. How's your body feel? Do you feel a bit less stiff after